Hold your breath a little longer. Hold your breath a little longer.
What's the song that makes you think of summer the most?
I kind of feel like it's that "Are You Ready for the Summer" from Meatballs.
That is pretty good.
Because it has summer right in the title, so
All right. And it's a
makes
bunch
me
of
think about
kids.
it. Yeah.
You know? Mine's definitely "Summertime" by Will Smith.
It is Will Smith,
Yeah,
right?
man. Every time.
Really?
Like DJ Jazzy Jeff, like he's got it. Like
hits
there's
it.
a reason, you know, there's
Drums,
so big.
please.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I was trying to find really quickly, trying to post a story about this, and I try to do the improv trick, clear your brain. What song do you think of? And all of a sudden, the Cars came to my head and it's just one lyric, and it's just like summer. It's like a merry-go-round, and I'm like, really? That was the one? And of course, it wasn't even on Instagram, but that's what I think of. I think of summer, summer, summer.
I would say, so Don Henley's got Boys of Summer, but
Yeah.
there's a good cover by the Ataris.
Oh, that's
I didn't even
better
think about
cover.
Boys of Summer.
Yeah.
What's
A
Boys of
better
Summer.
cover.
Yeah,
I think that's better.
great
I'm
cover.
saying it.
That's a great cover.
I mean, I loved in television more than I like Atari, but I like the Atari's better version of that.
Yep.
For sure. That's a good version of it.
Great cover. Yep.
There really is, to quote Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince, when school is out, there is sort of a buzz. And back then, we really didn't know what it was.
True, man. Will Smith speaking facts before he was slapping dudes.
Yes.
Bring back old school Will Smith.
Yeah, he just needs to come. That's what maybe really needs to do. Just to find himself.
What?
He needs to get in trouble with the IRS again. And let's get his career restarting with old kind of Will Smith, that old school kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
I agree. He was the
He
summer.
needs to do another song about his parents.
I think this time they would understand.
Right? Let's get Jaden involved.
Ooh, I think she might be entangled with something else. let's maybe leave her out of it. But Will Smith was the king of summer box office for the longest time, right? He ruled the 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
He ruled it.
Like he had a movie based on the 4th of July.
Yes,
a solid group of years there. He was in everything.
it was.
He sure
So,
was. Yeah.
I need to prepare our viewer tonight for any technical difficulties. We're having funny camera stuff going.
Yes, so please stand by. Do you have the Native American with the color bars just in case?
I do.
We should. But oh man, so what's up, B Rose? He's on here somewhere.
B Rose. JJ's here. You didn't introduce JJ.
I know. I got
What's
texted
up?
in the middle, but yeah, JJ's back in the house.
What's going
Double
on?
J-A. I was trying to come up with a nickname, and I was just
I'm
like,
the real Double J.
You're the real Double J.
I'm the real Double J.
But then I thought I'd throw an A at the end. Does that work? Double J-A?
It's double J-A-J because I'm junior.
Oh, okay. Double A-J.
Yeah.
I think this could work.
Double J-A-J.
Jeff Jarrett. I was like, it was perfect timing when I did my stint as an extra. Double J was there, and I was
Nice,
just like,
nice.
I was like, I can kind of spell my name like that because I got 2 T's. But yeah, we had to get you in, dude, for the summer show. We had a really successful summer shows with summer horror movies with our friend rainbowFRIGHT. And Mario, I'm doing this live off the cuff. Drum roll, please. 1,000 subscribers for our friend rainbowFRIGHT.
Yes.
So let's give it to her. Thank you so much. So what this means is, yes.
It's still in the sound.
I knew people to know that that's the sting, and I'm not pausing for flatulation when that happens. But yeah, I need her to know that I'm trying not to step on her sting. But yeah, we're gonna play a game on our show when she hit her 1,000 subscribers, and
Congratulations.
yes, so
Yeah, congrats,
congratulations
Rainbow.
to that. We're gonna be doing that very soon. But again, we did a great horror show, so we thought let's actually do some summer comedies. Oh,
Yeah.
Rainbow's on there.
Oh,
Yes.
Rainbow.
yes.
All right.
And you know what? Like really, like sincerely, quick shout out to Rainbow. Like if you're not subscribed to Rainbow Fright's channel, go check it out. 'Cause she's got like really quality content.
She
on there.
does. She really
She really
does.
does.
It makes me like look in the mirror. It's like, man, I really need to learn how to speak properly. this getting punched in the mouth thing didn't work out for me as much, so the words don't come out as like when she does. Like her stuff is just so good.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
again, we're friends for a while. So
Props.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it. So, but we wanted to keep the summer vibe going, and we're like, let's just talk about summer comedies, and have somebody we're going to introduce in a few minutes. But
Can I ask what just so we get the ground rules down? What entails a summer comedy? Is it a comedy about the summer, or a comedy that takes place at the summer?
I think both. I think of it as something that's making you laugh while your mom's yelling at you saying, "Stop dripping on my floor."
Yeah. Or is it something that you watched 1,000 times because it was on all the time?
That for sure is a big
Because you were
part of
home for the
this.
summer.
Yeah. I need to change like all my answers.
Right? Pre-internet, right? That we
Oh, yeah.
had. That's all you had to do. You just had to
Oh, yeah.
keep watching these VHS over and over and over again.
That's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Secret of the Ooze. That's yeah. Over. I can quote that movie from childhood. So
Oh, are you looking forward to the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
I am. That looks really good.
It does look pretty good.
Especially because on this very show, I called out the disgusting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles most recent, just awful. God.
I remember. That was
Yeah.
a good spot.
So I am very much looking forward to this. I think it's gonna be great.
It looks pretty good. And they got the faces right. They're not doing those weird...
The note, like they got the
Yeah.
noses. No.
They do seem a bit young. They seem almost like real young.
Well, like
Is that how old the Ninja Turtles were previously? And
they're supposed to be like 15, 16.
Yeah. Okay.
And so,
well,
and the cartoons have been. If you haven't seen any of the cartoons, there's like been like 5 cartoons that have come out.
Yeah,
about
there
Ninja
was a
Turtles.
bunch of different ones.
But they're all quality, but yeah, they're about that age, 15, 16 years old.
yeah.
They're if we want to do a really quick before we bring Ashley in this week in AI, they
Yes.
actually asked AI to give us a retired Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle look, and it looked terrifying. They
Hold
looked
on.
like,
I'll look it up.
yeah, they looked
I'll look
like
it up.
George Burns stayed at the buffet too long. Not to give you a dated reference, but he always kind of looked like a turtle. He kind of had that turtle look.
Did you hear about this? I think this professor at Texas A&M who like failed most of his class, I think, or all of his class, because he put their papers into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT took credit for their papers.
Really?
And they're like, "No, we have evidence that I actually wrote this." And he's like, "No, I don't. No, it's all zeros."
Is this
So
just
all these-
images? Retired Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, it's just
and
images.
so
yeah.
all these students can't graduate. They're having their
What?
diplomas withheld.
Thanks a lot,
And so,
AI.
Yep. Yep.
Here we go.
So
Chuckles warned us about this. Thanks, AI.
So it's getting there.
Yep, there it is. Retired Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's Donatello reading the paper, reading the funnies at a bar, having a pint.
Having a pint.
Yep, so
That's hilarious.
that was some AI stuff. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of animation too that very much remind you of summer. Because again, the cartoons that you watch over.
You know
and
what
over
reminds me of summer? The Price is Right.
Yeah,
There you go.
The Price is Right means it's summertime.
that's right.
You've never watched so much Prices Right in
When
your
you
life.
get up and The Price is Right is on and you're watching it. I mean, maybe we're showing our age. They don't stream The Price is Right anymore, do they? What happens with that show?
It's still somehow on.
Drew Carey's
Drew
doing
Carey's
it.
the host.
And it's on regular TV.
It's on regular TV.
Nobody watches regular TV, I assume.
Unless you got Netflix, they're trying to become regular TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Netflix should do is stream The Price is Right on Netflix. Uncensored.
With Drew Carey's, oh man, Drew Carey uncensored, I'll take that.
And when the contestants go crazy or when they lose and they get really upset, just let them go all out.
Just let them attack.
Yeah. We need to tag Bob Sarantos or the dude who runs Netflix. You know what I'm saying?
Is that who runs? I don't even know.
Bob Sacato, something like that.
I don't even know.
John Cicada?
John Cicada, tag him.
Just I don't wanna day. Different guy. But yeah, when you think summer, I think, Mario, you called it. 90210 was that the first show that ever did a summer season?
They came up with the brilliant idea to make shows in the summer.
Yeah, we were going to try to Google this really quick of like who did their summer specials really quick. Saved by the Bell or 90210.
Yeah.
Well, Saved by the Bell took the cue from them, I think.
Totally.
They may have,
90210
right.
was the first to do it.
They worked at JJ, we were talking about, right? They worked at like a Caddyshack type.
Oh yeah, they worked at like a beach resort.
The beach resort, right?
Yeah.
In 90210, that's where they worked
And
at,
they
right?
didn't
Same
do like
thing, right?
they barely did any work. They were just hooking up all over the place, and then like they'd wait a table once in a while. And the old man who ran the place was always pissed off at Zach Morris for trying to bang his daughter.
Who was Leah Remy, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wasn't that
yeah.
Leah
Oh,
Remy?
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Leah Remy.
Oh, wow.
I think that's where I first fell in love with her.
Yeah,
for sure. Yep.
So that was good. So yes, that's the summer vibe we're going for, but we're going for it with comedies. And I had to bring in one of the funnier accounts for sure on TikTok. Definitely, you should be following her, Ashley in real life, because she is a real estate rock star. She's a TikTok titan and a Zumba Zowie Wowie. So please welcome to the volume.
She's not on, dude.
She's not on?
What are you looking at?
I'm here. I just didn't know what I was supposed to bring camera on.
There she is.
She was cracking up.
She was trying to come on like boom, right on.
Hold on. No, I have to add her to
Yeah,
the
we'll
thing.
have to bring her in here. Now
Hold
we
on
see her.
1 second. Hold on.
But look at the studio upgrades here, JJ.
But y'all are
I really,
balling out here.
I walked in and I felt like that Negan meme on TikTok, and I'm like, hot diggity dog. This place is magnificent.
All right, now introduce her again. You
Yes.
have to let me know when these things are going to happen.
I know, I
if you
should.
expect a cue.
Wave your hand.
Let me try it again. Real estate rock star, TikTok titan, Zumba Zowie Wowie. Please welcome Ashley IRL. Ashley, welcome. There she is.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you. You definitely got the note. It is all about summer comedies for sure. And you look summered up, ready to go.
Thank you. I prepared. I was one of my favorite movies is Breakfast Club, and I was like, that doesn't work. Like that's so clearly a winter movie. It's like it does not fit the bill.
You can
They're
have
coming in the
breakfast
snow,
any
they're
season.
inside all
in my
day.
opinion.
I know. Oh, yeah, because I guess they technically were in school, which is right next to Dos Incredible Studios. You can always tell when you can't get parking. It's like some people
Right?
got detention.
Man.
Stop shooting on the studio location.
Yes, I know. Well, I didn't
start
say, I didn't
Googling
say, I
schools in
didn't say
Austin.
what school.
They're gonna be looking for the luchador right
Why is
right
there
next
a
to the
wrestling
school.
ring next
Yeah.
to this school?
So actually, we had you on. It's been a little bit more than a year. We had you for our Die Hard Christmas special on there, and that was so fun. But that was before all the studio upgrades when we couldn't actually see you. So now we're just like, you know what? We got to do a gimmick where we actually can see her, because if you follow her on TikTok, Ashley in real life, her stuff is always pop. It gets pops out of me every time. So always work, because you are definitely like all over the place as far as like the topics that you cover. Like you talk about in real life, but then you talk about like your job stuff. So it's always a good watch.
Thank you. I have so much fun with it. I love doing those videos.
And I think that's what kind of shines through. You can tell you're having a good time for sure. So I was like, you know what? We need to get her on here for comedies. We had such a successful show with rainbowFRIGHT talking about horror in the summer. It's like, let's get comedy in summer. So here was the assignment. Each one of us was to bring 3 different perennial summer comedies that we watch over and over again or somehow reflect summer. I know, Mario, we're trying to wiggle the room. Does it mean it takes place in summer? Does it feel like summer? Does it taste like summer? And it's a little bit of all of it. So I think we're all 3 ready with our films.
I'm
believe
currently
so.
subscribing to Ashley IRO.
Yeah,
real
there you
quick.
go.
Hold on, give me a second.
Ashley, where does one get that hat? I need to know.
That is next level.
Because that will
Amazon. I have it in 4 colors. I love it.
definitely keep you shaded from harmful UV rays.
To be sure. I mean, it screams summer. This is not a ski.
You know, it's great. So, all right, let's go. And actually, since you are our guest, JJ, you're a guest too. But no, you're not really a guest. You're almost like a producer on this show at this point. You're a producer, researcher.
I just happen to be bumming around today, and you guys, hey, you want to be a part of the show? They're like, yeah, I'm in for sure.
That's not true. We booked him weeks in.
All right, Ashley, you're going to be up first. Let's pick your first film that is your... I couldn't come up with a gimmick for this. Funny under the sunny? I don't know. Fun in the sun, however you want to do. Fun in the sun. Let's go. That? Yeah, let's do that. Fun in the sun.
Number one, hands down for me, is Super Troopers. I am in hysterics every single time I watch it. I can quote it. I can like do the whole movie verbatim in my head. I love Super Troopers.
You know, can you ever listen to somebody order a cheeseburger at fast food and not think that it's for a cop? It's like, why'd you say it was a cop for?
Don't spit in that cop's burger.
No doubt. Super Troopers probably has the greatest opening scene of any movie ever, right? Like, is there a better opening scene you can think of?
I mean, are we talking about that like right
we
now?
need to get to it, huh? I almost made it.
So that's Broken Lizard, right? So Broken Lizard, I really thought like after that, so they did another summer movie, Club Dread, right? But Super Troopers really did just hit on all the marks, stand the test of time. If you talk to anyone, it came out in 2001, but again, you could go back and watch this over and over again. And I think that's what really institutes what a summer movie is. Like, can I rewatch it over and over again when I refuse to leave the house and I'm hiding from the sun?
And it hit, I feel like, a lot of people as almost like a slow burn, because the first time I watched it, I was like, this isn't funny. This is so dumb. And then the third time, I was like, no, I get it. This is so funny.
Oh, that's perfect. Let me give you the proper... So, Super Troopers, 2001 American comedy film directed by Jay Chandra. I don't know how to say his name. Chandahar, and written starring a Broken Lizard comedy group. For Fox Searchlight, they paid $3.25 million for distribution rights, and it grossed $23 million at the box office. And then a sequel to Super Troopers 2, which was a long time coming, got released in 2018. How did you feel about the sequel, Ash?
The only thing that's really stands out to me in the sequel is the scene of Farva dry swallowing M&Ms, like not chewing them. It's the only thing I can really remember.
That actually seems like some kind of like online challenge, right? We're just dry swallowing.
God.
Like with his weird like F you about everything attitude, he's like, I'm not going to enjoy these. And he just
I don't remember that part.
Now, did you guys see that? What was your first experience with Super Troopers? Was it at home or was it a theatrical experience? Because for me, it was not. It was not in the theaters. It was a theatrical experience. I mean, it was a home experience.
It was a Blockbuster rental.
Yes.
Oh,
What year did Super Troopers come out, Jeff?
2001.
Okay.
So it's a Blockbuster rental. Were you hovering near the return box and say, "Is that Super Troopers?" Or were you able to get a copy?
It was remember the long ones where like you get it Thursday and you can have it all the way till Sunday?
Oh,
I think
yes.
that's like the reason I fell in love, because I watched it Thursday night and I was like, seems weird, but I had it till Sunday, so we'll go ahead and hit it Saturday night, and then by Sunday I was like, amazing, keeping this.
I didn't realize that you had the experience over one extended rental weekend. I thought maybe it was a couple.
Or no, I was like,
there's your next.
gonna get my whole $5 out of this rental. Isn't happening.
damn right.
Oh man, and it took place in Vermont, so that was Spurberry, Vermont. I think this was at the time. I don't remember if it was a little bit more past Fargo. Of like, I didn't feel like the Vermont accents were as known unless you lived in the Northeast until Super Troopers. I feel like it put the Vermont accent on the map. Am I wrong?
No, I love it because like I mean, I'm, you know, rural Texas, like you hear it, like anything north of the Mason-Dixon line, you're like, you nailed it. All sounds the same. So you get to Canada and then no sense.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't like. I was trying to look for the quick synopsis, and it's actually just kind of giving the whole plot. But I feel like it's a tough movie to give like an elevator pitch to, like because it's just like you need to experience it.
It's like borderline sketch comedy with like a
Yes.
plot in there a little bit.
That's exactly what it feels like. It feels like they just somehow tied together all these very similar sketches and turned it into a film.
Is it a Police Academy vibe? In
Yes,
this one?
it really.
Could you do a double
is.
feature of Police Academy and Super Troopers?
You 100%
Actually,
could.
Do Police Academy 2 first, and Super Troopers.
Mario, can we get a Super Troopers Police Academy supercut? The machete cut? Or Mario?
We're gonna do that. We were gonna do the Police Academy machete cut. We haven't done it yet.
Oh
It's
yeah,
coming.
that is on the docket. So I got a question for you guys. Have you ever been pulled over and wanted to say, "I can't pull over anymore"? He's already pulled over. He can't be pulled over anymore. Do you think that either the cop's going to give you a ticket instantly, or kind of like if he's kind of in, he's like, "Oh, I saw that movie. Get the hell out of here."
It would be worth the risk to say it. Absolutely.
Because to me, those are the two. When you say Super Troopers, those are the two lines that I instantly pop in my head. I got a cheeseburger. It's for a cop, and he's pulled over. He can't be pulled over anymore. And I don't know if it was. Do you remember the trailers for that? Like the trailers were like. I feel like the first time we were exposed to quick 30-second trailers. Like you didn't really know anything above it, except it felt like you said it could have been very much sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Now the question is, was this before or after Reno 911?
That was definitely before.
This was before.
This was before, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I try to, my kids are not old enough to watch Super Troopers yet, but I try to explain scenes to them. And like when I can't get through the meow scene without laughing so hard that they're like, okay, we can't wait to see this. I'm like, well, you can't yet. Like you're not there because I don't want to answer what a mustache ride is, but we can talk about the meows.
And shout out to Brian. Brian, there's one classical actor in that movie. Brian he's in Succession now.
Oh yeah.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox was in that. Yeah.
He's like a classical Shakespearean actor, and he's in that movie. They brought him in just for the cred to play the captain, which is legit. You always want a solid captain yelling at the troops.
Yeah.
Because his anger is real when Farva does the soap. He's like, give me the goddamn soap. And he fights it.
Oh man, when I don't remember, and I don't know if I'm just having a brain hiccup here, it has Rob Lowe listed in here too.
Is Rob Lowe in Super Troopers?
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who does he play?
Guy LaFranc.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
remember that
Just
either.
going through the IMDb stats, and I was like, I don't remember Rob. Like, there's so much I do remember, but I do remember Brian Cox in it, but I don't remember Rob Lowe. But he gets a Super Trooper credit.
Jim Gaffigan is in it. He's the guy that gets pulled over, the meow guy.
Oh yes,
A very young version of him.
You know, I saw Jim Gaffigan at the Austin airport last year, and he has like 5 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And I was just like, and I thought I heard, it's like, but it's not a gimmick because I saw him walking through like with his tribe. And I was like, holy smokes, that's Jim Gaffigan. And I wanted to do the little, I didn't know you really had babies.
I thought it was a gimmick.
do his gimmick. And I was like, he might not find it's funny. Get the hell away from me. I'm trying to get on my plane.
Trying to feed my children.
That's right.
I wonder how often he gets people come up to him going, Hot Pocket.
Yes. Oh, you know it happens a lot. Yeah, there's a pretty. So it had Fred Savage has a credit in here. Will Sasso, Sean William Scott, the man with 3 first names. It's like a cast of thousands. So, good pick. Very good pick. Right out of the gate, Super Troopers is a summer movie. All right, JJ, you're up next.
Oh man, I don't know what to start with.
I'm gonna try to go by year, if that helps. If you want to go in that,
Oh, okay. We can go by year then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought for me it'll be easier, but
Okay, that's fine. Then the first movie I have, a fantastic movie. I'm not sure we can watch it today, but fantastic movie either way, is Meatballs.
just thinking about it, laughing because I was just like, I was like, what are the chances that Giphy's gonna have a GIF about Meatballs the movie? And of course it did. It delivered. So this falls in that very magical time in Hollywood, which would have been considered comedy, but now it would be considered crimes.
Yeah, most early 80s comedies are sex crimes.
Yes, 100%.
Or at least the sex pest.
Yes. Yeah.
So, wow. So
Evidence reel.
So Meatballs just barely missed that 80s cutoff. It was a 1979 Canadian comedy film, which it felt like because the Canadians loved their camps horror, so I'm not surprised that they snuck in a camp comedy. But did you know that it was directed by Ivan Reitman?
Yeah.
I thought it was Harold Ramis.
For some reason, I'm always confusing the two. Like, I feel like those two, for some reason, are just forever linked.
It does feel like they are in the same boat, right? Because it said it's noted Bill Murray's first film appearance in a starring role and the directing career of Reitman, who later directed comedy Stripes and Ghostbusters, both starring Bill Murray.
JJ, aside from the sex crimes, what do you love about Meatballs?
Sex crimes aside. Well, actually, we were talking about it earlier, Mara. Like you brought up, it's a great point. It's this very inspirational movie. Like, despite Bill Murray being, a sex pest, and then going on and like, I think he got typecast his entire career as a sex pest. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. But yeah, like he takes the depressed kid who doesn't want to be there, and like he really turns him around. Yeah, right there. And he really, he really like makes him believe in himself, and he helps him along during summer camp. And
Kid's insecure. He doesn't have any friends.
Right. And it's just like this really heartwarming thing, surrounded by, Bill Murray and, going after, at least it was one woman, like he really had feelings for her.
Right.
It's just the way he goes about it is very creepy.
Jeff, you went to sex crimes camp, right?
Yes. Yes, but not mandated by any law enforcement. So no, it was a different time for sure. It's funny. I was talking to somebody on Twitter today, and they're like, "Oh, I had a dream. I was at a camp, and there was a bunch of like ripped up condom wrappers and glass and some confetti." I was like, "Oh, you must have dreamt you were on the set of Meatballs."
But yeah, like that movie, take the creepiness out of it, and that movie could have come out during that time of like the mid 90s, when like Disney was dropping all the best summer kids movies.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I love it when they do when they have the field day and they're kicking ass at field day.
yeah, exactly.
Using their minds, not their sex crimes.
Thinking with their big head.
That's right.
There we
Exactly.
go. That's the one.
And when Bill Murray does that, it just doesn't matter speech. I mean, come on.
That's such. I was like, man, I'm going to use that in my life. It
Yeah.
just doesn't matter. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. There's no reason that you wouldn't. The title Meatballs itself sounds like it would be something on Disney. That would be the ultimate prank for somebody who's about to quit the company. Just like I secured the rights to a kids camp show called Meatballs. I'm going to set it to air, just lock the door, and then walk away, and hilarity will ensue.
Meatballs has the one guy. This was a thing in the 80s, whereas if you were a fat guy in a movie, you were always eating candy bars.
You're
You always just had candy bar chocolate all over your face.
You're right.
Yeah. And they had the hot dog eating contest.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
No mustard? But it's always they have to have an eating contest, and he's got all the stuff on his face, and his shirt's all dirty because he's got crumbs and sauce and everything. Yeah, like it's just yeah, you're right.
My summer horror movie actually involved a camp just like that too. Remember, it was Friday the 13th Part 5, and also he was eating candy bars and he had chocolate all
Why
over.
is that was just the thing?
What's
Nate.
the
It's
deal
like,
with that?
if you have a fat guy in there, he's eating candy bars all the time.
It's like, why are you
Can't
doing
control
this?
himself. Hershey's.
It's summer.
almonds.
It's just gonna melt and it's just gonna get everywhere. So yeah, that was. I mean, that's a pretty big claim to fame because Bill Murray definitely, like you said, was a little bit typecast after that. His name was Tripper. Right, it was Tripper on that. The kid that he was trying to inspire from that was just coming a little hot off of My Bodyguard with an early Matt Dillon.
That is the kid from My Bodyguard.
Yeah, early Matt Dillon. So he was definitely the kid that they were choosing that just wasn't ready, whether it was to move to another house or go to a sex crime camp. He just wasn't ready. And you just need people like Matt Dillon, who there will be a callback to that, but to get you ready for that. So yeah, to me, and Mario, you called it in the very beginning. When you think of what song kind of reminds you of summer, and the first lyric is "Are you ready for the summer?"
Oh yeah.
is in Meatballs.
Yep.
That song, that's a banger.
Yeah, it is totally a banger.
You guys ever watch on Nickelodeon back in the day, Salute Your Shorts?
Oh, weren't you saying
summer
Oh my
camp?
God.
Salute Your Shorts is Meatballs for kids?
Is Meatballs for Kids. 100.
What does Meatballs mean anyway? Why did they call it that? Jeff, is this an East Coast
Yeah.
thing?
It might be an East Coast thing because I remember Stallone, Thunderlips called Rocky Meatball. It was
Yeah.
like it was a little bit disparaging.
Wait, is that?
that-
But that's a racial slur.
I was gonna say, is that an Italian slur?
Maybe, I don't know.
We're about to get
Meatballs
canceled.
means a bunch of guys who do sex crimes.
Oh man, actually, I saw you light up when you talked about Salute Your Shorts. You watched Salute Your Shorts.
I could probably still sing the entire theme song. Like it was so
Yeah.
memorable.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
That's-
I remember the title because it's a fantastic title.
It is a good title.
Yeah, I want that to be.
I'd
the
watch
log line.
that show if it came out today.
Yeah. And even in like the title screen, like they have, so like in Meatballs, they have like somebody's pants or shorts get put up on the flagpole.
That's right, they do.
And the reason it's called Salute Your Shorts is like in the very first
they do
2
the-
minutes of the show, somebody's boxers get put up on the flagpole.
The fat guy.
The fat guy. Yeah.
And that Salute Your Shorts had the fat kid too that he
Yeah.
was always eating. And, like, there was always like a way though for the fat kid to like be the hero.
That's true.
Right?
Yes.
Like
His
the eating contest would come out, or it would be tug of war, or like a catapult thing had to happen, and he was there.
yeah.
There was always like a
I'm
win.
going to eat
for the
my
fat
way
kid.
to the finals.
And his name is the greatest name in TV history, Donkey Lips.
That's terrible. That's terrible. What the hell?
It had the beginning with like, remember like the Full House beginnings where always like you just had like the character for a second.
Yes.
But this had the one where they were all singing the song separately and they would screw it up or they would like be into like that intro was just fantastic.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Salute your shorts.
I gotta find
It's on Paramount Plus, just in case.
It is?
Not sponsored, but it is on Paramount Plus.
Sign up for Walmart Plus, you get it for free. Brought to you by Walmart.
Yes. Was this before or after Hey Dude?
This was at the same, like around the same time as
Yeah, it
Hey
was
Dude.
around the Hey Dude.
Yeah.
The Hey Dude was another summer show.
When Nickelodeon was putting out those kind of bangers, like, just
The afternoon bang.
yeah.
Yes, like
That was the like 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. place to be because you had all that like Hey Dude,
Oh, yeah.
California Dreams was
Oh
there.
man, California Dreams. Oh man, I just nostalgic hard.
oh man, the pattern is they're just shipping kids off to play. It's like we can't do them to another camp. Just send them to a dude ranch. A dude ranch for real? Yes, it's gonna be.
Yeah. Hilarity ensues.
It's a little wild and it's a little strange when your
And
home is
always
out on the
one
range.
slightly unhinged adult in charge. Like
Yes.
running the whole show, but like they're so easily manipulated. And kids are just like inmates run the asylum on all these shows. They're so great.
Yep.
Which was started originally by Bill Murray and Meatballs.
Exactly. Like
the
it just,
unhinged guy is the one that's running stuff.
they just pulled directly from Meatballs. Yep.
Oh, that was awesome. Good pick. Good pick. All right, Mario, you want to go? You want to go?
Sure, I'll go. I'm surprised that this one didn't come up sooner. Or, I mean, we're at the beginning of the cycle here. But, I mean, there's this... I think that this movie just screams summer. It's a classic summer. Maybe it's a cliched summer movie. Who knows? But, I mean, I've got to go with the original Vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Of course.
Vacation. Like, I mean, it's got all the elements, and it's like, I think if you read this original story, I think it was like a National Lampoon story. It's a lot dirtier. I think it was written by John Hughes, right?
Yes.
It's a lot dirtier, but Vacation is it's rated R. It's a rated R family summer movie.
It was.
I love this movie. This is Chevy Chase at his peak, and I think Chevy Chase at his peak was like the funniest person who ever lived. Am I wrong about that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's
mean-
got a crazy reputation now, but back
I mean,
then,
obviously, yeah, he's got a reputation for being a jerk, but I mean, there was no one funnier at the time.
he just could not miss.
He could not miss. He was great. And what his whole gimmick was just being straight laced until he completely loses it.
Right.
Right? And he's cursing at his kids. Yeah, Vacation, man. That's my first summer pick.
If you are not whistling zippity doodah out your ass, you don't know what vacation is.
I think you're all fucked in the head.
There was so much stuff that like you don't know. Like, and actually, you're talking about earlier, like trying to figure out when's the best time to introduce your kids to this stuff. But let's face it, we were probably introduced to this stuff way too young anyway. And it's like,
sure.
and it took a little while before we, like years later, like, oh, I just got that.
Yeah.
That's pretty dirty.
Oh yeah.
Like he eats a urine sandwich and he robs a gift shop halfway through. We're not even to the end. Then he like takes Disney World hostage with John Candy, right? And
Yes,
there's like a darker ending where he like kills him.
I didn't know that.
They planned to cut that because they already tied the dead grandma to the car.
The dead grandma and the car. The dog foreshadows the grandma.
That's right.
It's good writing.
I forgot about the dog. There's no way the people would accept that.
You'd have to do it in reverse nowadays. People like grandma had it coming, but the dog?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. There's no way you can't drive to the Grand Canyon and not think of that movie.
Yeah.
All right, you going to take it in? All right, let's go. And again, speaking of like too early for exposure, one of the ones that really sticks to me was just like, well, we got to see topless Beverly D'Angelo in the family summer movie. And then they were under the blanket. Yeah, she was topless.
And topless Christy Brinkley, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You got both.
Bottomless too. Her little butt.
Oh, that's
comes in there.
right.
How did we
Solid
get this to
family
be a
entertainment.
summer movie? Like a family movie, like a family movie is really
Families
I
love
remember
it.
watching it with my family.
right.
But Jeff, you were different. You
Amazing.
watched Faces of Death at lunch.
That's true. It was a little bit different, but I just remember the scene just like, where's mom? I'm under here, kids. Go back to bed. And he had her panties on his finger. And I was just like, what is that?
I think this creates classic summer vibes. You should check it out. Why not? Why not check out Vacation if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it?
No, this is definitely one of the ones that you just
Got
watch
an early
over
appearance
and over
of
again.
Anthony Michael Hall, one of his earliest appearances.
Yeah.
You've got
Uncle Eddie. And
Chevy
you get your
Chase.
first introduction to Uncle Eddie.
Uncle Eddie.
Right,
That's the first
Randy-
appearance in this one. Yeah.
Randy Quaid in there.
Yeah.
Because speaking of weird, awkward stuff, that was one of the jokes that I didn't get till much later in life. And then you're like, oh no. When it's just like, I French kiss. And it's just like, yeah, but my dad says I did it best. And I'm like, well, I just got that. What the hell? How did that even get past the like standards and practices would not approve of that?
And that's Jan Krakowski, right? From
Yes.
30 Rock.
That's
fame.
right. Yeah, she is. Jenna Malone from 30 Rock.
Lots of
when she was
early
little.
cameos in this one.
Drugs and then
Again with the crimes, like
Yes,
it's existed.
exactly. It was so awkward.
Yeah, in the 80s, sex crimes were comedy.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
That's really hard to pick like what your favorite scene in that movie is, but I think for me was the awkwardness of him trying to explain to Rusty why he was swimming with Christy Brinkley in the pool. It's like it's a pool maid. It's a pool maid. It's like what? It's like just the awkwardness because you can tell he was totally just improving that. There was no lines, and he was just trying to figure it out. It's just like we all saw you, Dad. And the white shoes that have you guys owned a pair of white shoes like that? Raise your hand if you owned a pair
Not
of white
like
shoes.
that.
Not like
Just to have them on the shelf. I mean, you're not necessarily going to wear them out. But actually, I don't know. Actually, I may have asked you this. I don't know. Remind me if I did. Mario, we definitely talked about it. Is what vacation is more popular? The traditional National Lampoon Vacation or Christmas Vacation?
Christmas Vacation, 100% is the most popular vacation.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
So you think it? Actually, you agree with that? Did it take the lead?
I politely disagree. I think summer vacation does it.
Summer?
Yeah. And I would even almost go because I like a little different time zone, but like the Vegas vacation, equally hilarious, equally quotable.
Now that's one I haven't seen in
Vegas
a long
Vacation is hilarious.
And I just use it in one of our shots. But yeah, anytime I got a credit card with someone's name that's not my name, I'm like, thank you, Papa Giorgio.
Mr. Papa Giorgio.
Mr.
From
Papa
Yuma, where I
Giorgio.
work in software and software business.
That was the first vacation to not be National Lampoon's Vacation. It was just Vegas Vacation in
wow.
general. Rainbow just chimed in with her picks. She's got some summer comedy
Oh yeah,
picks.
let's see those pics here.
Here we go. She got White Men Can't Jump. Excellent film.
Oh wow.
Excellent film.
Yes.
Like, that's like an art film to me.
That is art.
Yeah. Little Miss Sunshine, also like the king of the indie films, honestly. Like the best indie film ever. And The Sandlot. I've never seen The Sandlot.
You've never
What?
seen The
I've
Sandlot?
never seen The Sandlot.
Wow.
No, this
you
we're
not
turning this
raised
into
in
a
America?
Sandlot watch party.
That is right.
I was never drawn to see The Sandlot. I don't
I'm
know.
surprised.
Nope, shut it all down. We're
I
turning
think
this
it's
into
good.
a Sandlot watch party.
I mean, that was the whole "You're Killing Me" Smalls shirts and logo.
I know
was-
that's from there, but I've never seen the movie.
Wow.
And then him walking along the pool gif. That's a pretty big. Oh, Rainbow coming in hot with those picks. Those are great picks.
Great picks.
They're doing a remake of White Man Can't Jump.
It's out on Hulu. They turned it into a series,
It's a
which
whole
is
series?
crazy.
It's a
It's like a
series?
series. Come on.
Is it funny?
I don't even know. I don't even know how you can do that movie again.
Same universe? Is it Woody?
It's not. No, it's new actors.
New actors? Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right.
Reboot.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It seems it's like I don't know. They're farming for IP, I guess.
They must be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say out of those
Whatever.
three,
Your mother's an astronaut.
oh man, good stuff. Man, we've hit already so many iconic films, and this is just round one.
That was round one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my round one. Mine's a little bit on the nose, but talk about movies that you watch over and over again. I remember I was actually living with my grandparents in Puerto Rico, and we just had the VHS, so I watch it over and over again. And that's Summer School, 1987, with Mark Harmon. Holy smokes, that
what a
movie. Just watched it over. And weirdly enough, I think my love of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre came from the character Chainsaw in there, because I was like, I didn't know who Rick Baker truly was until he started talking about it, and he started doing some research, and like, oh wow, that's like a real makeup guy. But to me, it's just like Mark Harmon was just coming off of, what was it, St. Elsewhere or something, but he was like going to be the next big thing, huge movie star, and he came out hot with Summer School. And to me, I don't know, Freddie Shoup. It had Kirstie Brinkley. Not Kirstie. Jeez, it was just on my Kirstie Alley in there.
Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley was in there so well. And then we had early Courtney Thorne Smith, for all you Melrose Place fans out there, was in there. So it was just something about it. It just worked so well. And a lot of the jokes they probably gave away in the trailer, but it still worked well. Like, hey, the guy comes back to take the test at the end of summer school. He's just like, hey, you're in my class. You haven't been here all summer. I remember I went to the restroom. Where were you? My zipper got stuck. It's just like, what?
Here's the true test of
And
any.
he still has the pass.
Yeah, you still have the pass, too. It's perfect.
Smart kid. Here's the true test of any 80s comedy. Is there any sex crimes in this movie?
Is there a meter for that? I don't know if there. I don't think that this one might be clean.
Is there any age
Well,
There's some age inappropriate stuff.
Well, Courtney Thorne Smith was definitely trying to get with Mr. Shoup, and he made sure that
That's
he's
right,
like,
that's right.
He stiff armed her, so I think we started to teetering away from that.
Yeah.
There was definitely crimes of grammar, for sure. Because the line that still sticks with me, if I ever hear anybody say "you and me," is like, they're as smart as you and me, you and I, all of us. That, but here's some cool facts. It was directed by Carl Reiner, which I did not know.
Oh.
So I mean, we got Hollywood royalty, and music was composed by Danny Elfman, whose name just keeps popping up in all the movies.
It is an excellent film, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's so good.
As far as summer school movies go, it's probably the best.
And how fun was it? Just like, you just wanted to have that teacher that said, "I'm going to grant you one wish if you do your work." And they just did the screen. They went on the go-kart rides, right? And they had the screening of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the class. He gave her a place to live. He helped.
Seems inappropriate.
Somehow the closest you got to, it wasn't really a crime, but he ended up at the male strip club because he thought he needed to go out, and that's where he went. And then he saw one of his students. Hey, cowboy, don't I know you?
Sleepy.
Is the underage boy working at the strip club?
Yes, it was the underage boy who was always asleep in the
We did
class.
get a crime then.
Yeah, we got our sex crime.
Yeah, at least one sex crime, but that one we're gonna pretend it didn't happen. We're gonna just have a talk with him.
Yeah, because he fixed them.
Yeah,
He fixed them, and I just remember it had the ending that was magical. It was just like they all had terrible grades, but it was better than what they had. And he's like, "That's what I call teaching. You got tenure, Mr. Shoup."
Like it made you want to go to summer school, like be a delinquent,
It
so that
truly
you could
did.
go to summer school, and hopefully you had a teacher like that who was gonna turn your whole life around.
It made you want to look at like how far you've come versus like what you think where you should be. Because when he does that big speech at the end and he pulls everyone's like, you went from a D, all the way here, and you gave birth, and like he's like saying everything that they did and how far they came, and like it just feels good to like.
you
hear
went
that,
from a
be
D
like,
to
I
a
just-
D plus. That's teaching.
There's just so many lines that stuck in there. Is that your dog? Yeah. No dogs on the beach. $50. That's not my dog. That's a beach dog. Go away, beach dog. Go away. Wonder Mutt. And he's just like, you know what we need besides bread? And he was just eating the peanut butter and jelly with the jar. It's just all these subtle little things that just stick in your brain. And then when Kirstie Alley, that's probably one of my favorite that I still pop for, when they were being so loud. And then she'd come over and it's like, maybe stick to, profane stuff with your hands. And they're like, that's it. And it's like, yes, profane gestures instead. That's the
Like,
yeah, exactly. And they just started doing it all. And they really milked that to the end. R.I.P. Kirstie Alley was great in that.
Is she dead?
Yeah, she passed.
Oh, man, I had no
recently.
idea.
Yeah. But she was so good in that, and the whole thing of just like asking her.
Is Shelley Long alive?
Shelley Long?
Shelley Long's still doing it, isn't she?
I believe she still is.
What about Ted Danson?
Ted Danson? Ted
yeah.
Danson's like still got shows.
He's
like
he's
on
in
CBS.
he's just been in a show. He's like the mayor of LA or something.
Yes, it was called The Mayor.
Yeah, The Mayor. Yeah,
It's
there
just
you go.
called The Mayor.
It's a pretty funny show.
And he plays himself in Curb Your Enthusiasm, so he's still going.
Yeah. Ted's got it. He's still got it for sure.
Mark Harmon is still working. He's on like NCIS.
Yeah, right. He's an investigator or something.
But yeah, this comedy to me, like this is one. Actually, you're talking about like when can you get your kids? Maybe this is like a gateway that you can. Let's start with Summer School, 1987, which is a risky time for comedies apparently. But Summer School.
I feel like if you want to introduce your kids to like horror movies, like with the gore, Summer School's your gateway because they do all that.
That is an excellent gore scene.
Yeah.
I wonder if KMB did those effects.
Yeah, they might have. That was really good with the rabbits eating the face. That's what you want. We're psychopaths. And the foreign exchange student was like, "It's a lie."
But then in the after, when everyone's chilling, in the it stayed with me so much with the pencil in the eyeball, and then he pulls it off and takes a bite out of it, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It's the subtle little things like that in the comedy, the background stuff when you think no one's watching, and as kids, oh, we're watching again and again and again.
Yep.
All right, that was awesome. All right, so let's just recap round one. So. Ashley, you had Super Troopers. JJ had Meatballs. Mario, you had National Lampoon's Vacation. And then I had Summer School. Nice. So I think we kind of expanded a little bit. Like we jumped around. We stayed in the 80s. We had some 70s. And we had the aughts. So let's go for round two. So Ashley, you are up for your second go-to summer comedy.
Okay, the movie with the most F-bombs to date in a single show is The Big Lebowski.
Oh! Fantastic pick. So good.
Great pick.
One that came out in that 90s renaissance of films that I would say that when you watch these films in this time period, they just got better and better and better. And you can still watch Lebowski and still get a good pop every time.
Absolutely hilarious. There's John Goodman with his like always like under the surface anger, like he's ready to snap any minute, and you're like, just do it. I feel like we all know someone like that who's just like, I'm calmer than you are. Calmer than you are. And you're like, no, you're not.
And it's crazy how young Steve Buscemi looked in that movie. Like I feel like he was playing just like a kid. And then later on, he's like, "Hello, fellow children." But look how young he looked in there. This was 98,
99, late 90s.
So this was post Pulp Fiction. So we already kind of got introed to him in that. But
he did Con Air like that same year.
He did. That's right. He was in Con Air. He was popping on all the films. Mm-hmm.
Sidebar: I need you to tag whoever owns the Con Air rights in this segment real quick, because I demand Con Air 2.
Yeah, we need a Con Air 2.
I feel like the powers that be, Nick Cage is hot again. Can we just make a Con Air 2 now?
Yeah.
I don't care what the plot is or how long it is or who's in it or anything about it. I just want it to exist.
I need Nick
would
Cage
draw the
with that.
line if we try to marry it with snakes on a plane. I think we really
No,
have a
definitely
goal
not.
here.
Yeah. I just need Nick Cage with that southern accent again.
Nick Cage with the southern accent doing karate. And just like saving people and just being an all-around good guy. I missed that. Con Air is, I demand Con Air 2. Please tag TriStar Pictures.
I mean, we had another summer legend. John Cusack was in that as well. You had Malkovich, Steve Buscemi, friend of the show. We're going to call him a friend of the show because he liked our stuff. Danny Trejo is now a new friend of the show.
He loves our stuff.
Whether
He's a
he
good friend.
knows it or not. And Ving Rhames. I mean, what a cast. That's a powerhouse
Stacked cast. Yep.
I have a hot take about Big Lebowski. Here's the thing. I think this came right after Fargo, which was like the big Coen Brothers hit, right? This is the best picture. And I think Big Lebowski is on par with Fargo. I think it suffers from one thing. I think the voiceover narration is what tanked this movie. It's a cult classic, and people love it, but it didn't do well initially. I think that initial voiceover narration put people off.
You're talking, yeah, because this found its audience after the fact.
Yeah.
It didn't find it in theaters, so you're saying because of that.
I just thought that it was a bit more. I think it's a great movie. I just think the voiceover narration at the beginning, in the middle, and the end didn't land. It didn't really. It felt out of place to me. But aside from that,
I feel like it was like they wanted to do something artsy with it, to be like, this isn't just a bunch of F words strung together. Like, we're very intelligent comedy here.
Exactly.
And so that voiceover kind of like leveled it up. But I agree, it was like, it doesn't fit, but it's there.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily needed.
Yeah, and imagine a version of Big Lebowski, another cut where it just instead of all that narration at the beginning, it's just the tumbleweed, and then we land at dude in the supermarket buying cream, and that's it. And we have we don't need an explainer. Just let the movie play out the way it feels, like a studio note. It's just like, we don't get what the audience is not going to know what's happening in the first minute of the movie if you don't explain it to them. But like, I just thought that just threw the vibe of the movie off. I think had they not done that, it would have been Best Picture of the year that year. Honestly, I do.
Didn't they do that with Blade Runner? And there's a
voiceover Blade Runner cuts. Yeah,
and then there's a cut without it. And but now you divide the fan base somehow. With you either get it with it or without it, and people no, I need the voiceover, or no, the voiceover just completely kills the movie.
It's been there for so long now. It's kind of tattooed in people's brains, so it's tougher. But I do agree with you, Mario. Like, if you would have just did it, if those studio notes would have just, maybe the producer should have been like, doesn't matter to me, doesn't matter to the Jesus. I don't need your notes.
You don't with the Jesus.
I feel like you know everything you need to know about the dude in the first grocery store scene when he pays for his creamer with a check.
Yeah. And it's like 107.
Like, the energy has been set. We understand who this person is.
Yeah, we just didn't need that explainer.
For me,
Anthony agrees. He knows. He's a lawyer.
Anthony knows. Anthony gets it.
For me, The Big Lebowski was one of those like Super Troopers was for you, Ashley. Like it was, you saw it and then you're like, what's this? And then on repeated viewings, it's like, oh, I get it. No, this is hilarious. This is a really good movie.
Yeah, it definitely, that first, you got to get the first one out of the way before you can really start to absorb absorb its greatness.
Yep.
Because I didn't discover. Go ahead, Ash.
Like, watching this, it came out when I was in high school, and my parents thought it was hilarious. Me and my brother and sister did as well. And we love to sit around and quote movies. But you can't quote this with your dad. Like, just can't. So we'd be laughing, and then we'd try to say the edited version, and then God blessed us with the TBS edit where they didn't even try to make the fake swear words. They just changed it completely, and it was so great. When he's smashing the car, and he's like, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
I forgot about that.
That's one of the best edits ever.
I've never seen that. I guess
they're like, we're not even going to try here. We're just making something up.
Just insert words.
Like the precursor to bad lip reading. And
yes.
They just went
They didn't even realize that they were creating
great.
bad lip reading.
That's up there with Monday to Friday Plane from Snakes on a Plane. Oh, yeah. Sick and tired.
Say it. You got to say the quote now.
Sick and tired of these, was it mother loving snakes on this Monday to Friday plane? Like, what does that even
mean? Oh man, and somebody went to school for that job. They're like, just put words in that start with the same letter.
Right. Just okay.
So I don't know if you guys know this. It's not a hot take. It kind of snuck in the radar. I remember hearing about it and didn't go back to it. There was a quasi cousin sequel to The Big Lebowski called The Jesus Rolls
I did see that.
in 2020.
I
It
watched
came
it.
out during the lockdown.
Yeah.
It's called a American 2020 American crime comedy film, and it was written by John Turturro.
It's neither of those things.
It's not a crime or a comedy.
Is it a crime?
It's nor a film. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
The poster looks great.
I don't know how that even got released. I guess because it was lockdown.
Yeah, it was 2020, man.
I don't recommend.
It said, yeah, it was filmed in 2016, premiered in Rome at the Rome Film Festival 2019, released in 2020. It was a box office bomb and received generally negative reviews from critics. But the poster is great. It's got the Jesus's ball with the hairnet on it. And I was, yeah, exactly. That's got to be up there as like, if you have like a top 20 gifts, that's got to be one of the first gifts I remember seeing is the ball polish. Oh, maybe we can get those clippers as finally as a sponsor because we said ball polish.
There you go. Yeah, Manscaped. Manscaped.
Yeah, Manscaped.
Call up the Dose Incredible.
Manscaped.
This short is brought to you by Manscaped.
We'll sell your ball shavers on our show. Just send us some.
Oh man, that's disappointing because Big Lebowski again just got better and better with age.
Yes.
The dude. I think you can even just say the dude, and everybody knows. Everybody knows Jeff Goldblum, Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski. If you ever see a fancy, actually, we should be talking to you about this. You're in real estate. How many times have you said the rug really brings the room together?
Ties the room together, did it not?
You have to do that, and then either they get it or you just get to get a good laugh for yourself when you say it.
Oh yeah, like if you're feeling them out, you're like, you get it, you get it.
And when they don't get it, you're like, okay, anyway, over here.
Back to this cozy kitchen. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't look at a red rug like that and not. Again, and we're just talking about I think these summer movies, it's because of these brainworms that just stick in your head. And that's another one. If you ever go to like PetSmart and you see a ferret and you imagine a ferret in the bathtub, you know it's going to be.
You're like, oh, nice
Amphibious
marmot.
rodent.
Nice varmint. Oh man, that was classic.
That entire bathroom scene is every single word that comes out of their mouths is gold. Like when he's got the head in the toilet, where's the money, Lebowski? And he pulls him up and he's like, it's down there somewhere. Can I get another look?
Oh man, so good. Yes. So did you feel like when you're watching this, it's just like it was on repeat viewing in your house over the summer, and that's why you kind of feel, yeah, totally.
Because you could turn on HBO at any time and like you had a 50-50 shot of watching The Big Lebowski.
Yes.
And then you just leave it on for the next person that came in through the living room, and we all loved it.
That's why cable is great still.
Yeah.
Because you can turn on a movie halfway and just watch it from there. Then the first half plays like 6 hours later.
Unchangeable, if that's a word, unchangeable. Like if you stumble upon this, you're not changing it. You're not like,
Oh, yeah.
I already saw this. You're like, shit, I had to leave, but I'm literally going to sit here and watch this movie again. I don't care where I got to go.
The amount of times I've stayed up till 4 a.m. because a movie came on that I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this. Son of a bitch. Yeah.
I think I originally saw this movie only in chunks because I know my parents told me it was funny and I would catch half of it and then I would catch another chunk here and there and I'd always be in and out of my house. And I don't ever remember sitting down to watch it from start to finish until I was showing it to someone else. Like I knew I'd seen it all, but I saw it in like a Pulp Fiction version where like the order didn't always make sense. But even the standalone scenes were so funny. It was like, this is so great.
And it's a perfect movie that you could do that with and piece it together and be totally fine. Oh man, good pick. Big Lebowski. Awesome. All right, JJ, you're up.
All right.
Round 2.
That's hard to follow up The Big Lebowski.
That is tough.
I'm going to try. So I'm cheating a little bit here. So I know these are summer movies and we're in our summer garb here. But so I'm cheating a little bit. This movie was released in the summer, so I'm going off of that. But this movie
That counts.
It counts.
This might be my favorite comedy of all time, and that is Spaceballs.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Spaceballs is absolute. I quote it constantly, and I can't watch a Star Wars movie without thinking, I see you have the ring, and I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
That's right. That is phenomenal. Yeah, and that screams summer of '87. I don't even need to go to the Google machine for it. I know summer of '87. I can see it on the mall marquee right there with Lost Boys, Spaceballs.
That's a stacked, summer.
Is there
right
any
there.
sex crimes in Spaceballs?
No, because we had the Virgin alert
Yes, the Virgin Alert.
from Dot Matrix. She had the Virgin alert.
That's right.
That's right.
Which is unusual for Mel Brooks to have stuff that's not considered family friendly. But Spaceballs, I feel like he started to make the leap to like stuff that everybody, because that's got to be his biggest hit, right? Spaceballs.
I imagine, yeah. Spaceballs has to be his biggest.
I don't think it's his biggest hit. It's got to. I mean, I think his biggest hit is like Blazing Saddles.
Really?
Spaceballs is one of his '80s sort of follow-ups, but
Man.
it could be. I don't know. Pull up IMDb.
Yeah, I'll
There
check
you
it
go.
out.
Yeah.
Look up Mel Brooks' box office.
So it came off like it was going to be really dirty because I remember seeing the trailer and then they just said space. And he's like, not just space. Where are the balls? And that was the trailer. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got to go see this movie.
Yeah. And John Candy is
John Candy.
as Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Short for Bartholomew.
He's a mog.
He's his own best friend. Oh, and this is our second movie we picked for a summer classic that also had Melrose Place alum, because Daphne Zuniga was in this. As I want to, was it Princess Vespa or is that Hardware Wars?
That's Princess Vespa in
Princess
this
Vespa.
one.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is in that. So
Yeah.
yeah, she was also from Melrose Place, but yeah, she was in it. You had America's President from Independence Day, Bill Pullman, in there as well. Joan Rivers, right,
Rivers.
was the voice.
Dot Matrix.
Dot Matrix, and then Rick Moranis. So good. I actually even got to use the term ludicrous speed the other day. Ludicrous speed. I was just like, how fast you're just like, is that, can you go any faster? Like ludicrous speed?
They've gone plaid.
Gone plaid.
He's gone to plaid.
My poor wife can't say, and she enjoys it too because she does it too, but she can't say the word yogurt without me going, I hate yogurt.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, because Mel Brooks got to play two different roles in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Merchandising.
Merchandising.
Spaceballs the flamethrower.
And what's funny about that is they couldn't have any merchandise because the only way was it George Lucas would let them get away with that movie is if they didn't have any merchandise.
Why?
Oh, didn't
he
know
doesn't
that.
own. He
Wow.
doesn't know space or balls. Why would he be able to block that? He owns Stars and Wars, not Space and Balls. Why would he have any say?
Well, then I truly hope that someone has the dolls from the movie. You know, when he's like,
Oh, yes.
I love you. Like, if someone has those somewhere, I bet they're worth $1 million.
Oh, can you
Because
imagine getting those?
I didn't see you playing with your dolls again.
And she was going to get married to Prince Valium, right?
That's
He's always sleepy.
That's something I didn't like. That was one of those like little jokes. Like it was a clean joke, but it's a little joke that I didn't get till I was older. Watch it again. I'm like, oh, that's even more funny.
Shout out to Jim J. Bullock, former host of Hollywood Squares.
That's right. Too close to
as
comfort
Prince
fame.
Volume.
Oh man, no, you're right. Blazing Saddles is on 119 million, and then Spaceballs was 40 million.
Wow.
Producers only made 2 million. That's interesting.
Nazi movies don't make that much.
No, they don't. High Anxiety, Dracula Dead and Loving It, Men in Tights.
Oh man, Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, that's right.
I loved that movie so.
I thought that was going to be the match made in heaven, right? Mel Brooks with Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen?
How can, does it get
God,
any
that
better
should have
than
been
that?
it.
Talk about summer comedies.
Yep.
You know, obviously, we did a screening. Well, I went to a screening here of Alamo of Blazing Saddles, and they had to give the very long disclaimer of just like, hey, FYI, this movie was made in the 70s. It was a very different time. So if you offend easily, we set up this area in the back for you to kind of just like go shopping, and we have free treats because you might not be able to listen to some of this. That's
Which is really unfortunate because all of those things that will probably offend people, it's supposed to be, you know, they're taking the piss out of those people who are racist or whatever. You know, they're making fun of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They were the butt of the jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And Mel Brooks is letting you know that, you know, these people aren't okay.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. Because
Yeah.
he had Richard Pryor was originally going to play that, you know.
Well, he wrote the movie.
Yeah, he wrote it, right? So
Yeah.
you knew it was coming from the right place. And Gene Wilder was, we talked about this, but that was really good. But there was that one scene in Spaceballs that kind of pushed it that you probably couldn't, the comb the desert scene. Comb the desert.
Have you found it? Man, we ain't found shit. I remember that was the first time I saw that. I laughed so hard. I had to stop the movie. I laughed so hard.
That was old Mel
And you know
Brooks.
how the movie like holds on that shot for a little bit?
It does.
I know you because if you had it on VHS, just after he says that line, it holds for like 5 seconds. Like it's like applause, please, laughter, please.
They just stare. Like there's like a dead.
Yes, you were.
That in the assholes, the major assholes.
Oh, yes.
And they're like, and then the very class like, keep firing assholes. Like,
I'm surrounded by assholes.
I mean, for me, like the
he turned down
scene,
his eyes all crossed like,
Oh, yeah.
my cousin.
the scene where they do the Spaceballs, the movie, and they're watching it as the movie's happening.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And I guess that's a joke. They're making fun of videotape and how fast movies go to VHS. I mean, that's an old joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like when they get to like that whole scene is just great. It's like, we're at now.
Yeah.
Now is happening now. And they're watching.
When be now.
Yeah.
When will then be now? Soon.
What happened to then? You just missed it.
Yeah, shout out to Rick Moranis in that too. Lord Helmet, man, he was great in that.
Dark helmet.
Dark Helmet.
So funny. And you never see him be a villain,
No.
right? Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like
You're
all these.
right.
He's like a genuinely nice guy. Like he quit comedy to take care of his kids when his wife got sick.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like he's just a good human, and this is his only villain role, and he just nails it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's still so like insecure and sweet in it that you're just like, oh.
You're absolutely right, and it became iconic. Like when you think of that, you think of him for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With his tie with the Darth, like he's like part of the Darth Vader thing with like the necktie.
Oh man. And then you had there was I don't think there was any kind of crimes in there at all. I mean, if the risque stuff is when they were trying to get the air out and they were suck.
Mega Man's gone from suck to blow.
But you had the double mint twins in there. It's not a crime. It
Oh,
looks
that's-
pretty consensual.
Oh, that's right. It was consensual. That's right.
Well, the screen are like,
And he was totally doing whippets with those Perriers. Oh man, good pick. Good.
it's
pick.
so great though when they warp him out into the main area and realizing it's only one room. And he's like, yeah. And like, nobody told me my ass was this big.
When they put him back.
And then it's just the one room. And you're like, oh my God.
I'll just walk.
Oh man, Spaceballs, classic, 1987.
Classic summer fun.
It was,
Yes.
and there's a rumor when the Star Wars sequels came out they were going to do a Spaceballs one, and they talked about it. And Mel Brooks was almost okay with it, but you couldn't tell if he was joking. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to make a second one. It's called The Search for More Money."
Yeah.
And I was like, that would actually be a really good title. But then, nothing ever happened. Nothing ever came.
They released like a couple little cartoons that were kind of like a sequel.
Oh, I think I vaguely remember that.
I never got to see him, but yeah, I do remember that he did do a little something afterwards.
Okay.
And this was maybe 10 years back or whatever it was, but yeah.
Man, that was so good.
No.
You didn't capture them. You captured the stunt doubles. so I think that was like when you weren't used to things going fully meta.
Right.
And that was the meta of that, and then
It is an early meta classic.
it is because he accidentally hit the boom guy with his he did it. Just the little things that were good. Yeah. More brainworms. All right, good stuff. All right, Mario, you're up. I might have to grab a beer or something.
Do we need to do a commercial break?
You want to grab a drink break?
Yeah, let's take a quick 5. We've been on for an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness!
I think other podcasts they go way longer.
She's already geared up and ready. All right,
let's take a quick break.
BRB,
bio break.
All right.
Today, the United States is engaged in a gigantic effort to send men to the moon. For this effort, Pillsbury has developed many special foods. Here is the first one to be made available to the public: Space Food Sticks. To meet the demands of a long space flight, Space Food Sticks had to be a compact, nutritious, high-energy food. That's why they make the perfect between-meal energy snack. Energy for hard play. Energy for hard work. Lasting energy to feel alive. If that sounds better than some of the things your family fills up on between meals, you should try Space Food Sticks for good nutrition and lasting energy in a chewy, tasty snack food. Chocolate, caramel, and peanut butter. About 44 calories. At your grocer's next to the instant breakfast section. Space Food Sticks, the energy snack from U.S. Aerospace Research and Pillsbury.
It's landed. Ideal's new Astrobase has just landed. Look, the space lock is opening. And here comes the astronaut. He's being lowered from the Astrobase into the remote-controlled Scout car. The 2 space probes are being mounted for launching. The car is scanning the area. And there go the space probes. They're calling them back to the Astrobase. Mission accomplished. Ideal's Astrobase and Colonel Macaulay's space helmet are the greatest way to play outer space. You can scan the skies, launch deep space probes, fire rockets, destroy stray meteorites. Ideal's Astrobase is at your favorite toy store. Get your Ideal Astrobase today.
Eldon's new Billy Blastoff. Now he walks.
That's Billy's jet.
The jetpack on Billy's back powers his lunar crawler, runs the space mobile, drives the moon tractor, and makes Billy Blastoff walk. Eldon's Billy Blastoff Space Scout comes with 8 pieces.
There's 8 pieces.
Billy Blastoff. Now he walks.
Now, for every kid who has ever seen a science fiction movie, thrilled to the amazing strength of an out-of-this-world movie monster, comes Great Garloo by Marx. Garloo the Mighty. Garloo the Untamed. Garloo the Terrible. Who can stop him? Who can control this monstrous creature? You can, kids, because Great Garloo by Marx is yours to command. With these battery-operated controls, you can make Garloo go, stop, bend, pick up, turn. Yes, Great Garloo, almost 2 feet tall, will be your faithful servant. You name it, you're the boss. Bring out-of-this-world excitement into your house, kids. Own the most fantastic toy of all. Great Garloo by Marx.
M-A-R-X spells Marx, world's largest toy maker.
Ideal's Robot Commando is here to help you. He's your one-man army. No enemy can destroy him. He fights off tanks, hurls missiles one after another. Even a squadron of planes can't stop him. Robot Commando fires his secret weapon. He takes orders from no one except you.
Forward!
Ideal's Robot Commando is battery operated to obey your command. Adjust the control, speak into the microphone.
Left! Fire!
Ideal's Robot Commando is here to help you. Look for your Robot Commando. He's looking for you.
The Zeroids are here. From the planet Zero, the Zeroids. Zirak, the Zeroid commander, frees himself from his own Zeroid capsule. Advance! Zobor, the Zeroid transporter. Change his Zeroid capsule into a Cosmobile for hauling. Zintar, the Zeroid explorer, change his Zeroid capsule into a lunar sled. Command the Zeroids to defend. Move forward, backward, and transport. Command the Zeroids from Ideal.
Okay, coming back to live crew.
To live crew.
Move something. Okay, great. All right, I think it's my turn, right?
It is your turn. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a pick for this summer comedy rotation. I don't think people think of this movie as a comedy, but it 100% is a comedy. It's just like Pulp Fiction. People don't think Pulp Fiction is a comedy when it actually is. It's a comedy through and through.
Pretty much.
It's not an action movie. It's not a drama. It's not a heist movie. It's comedy. But the movie that really, really makes me think of summer is Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a pick.
I mean, like, there's not a lot of overt jokes. There's no slapstick. No one's falling over. No one's getting, pies in the face, whatever you want to do. But it is a funny movie throughout. What a great cast of characters in this movie. I can't remember everybody's name. You got Rory Cochrane as the stoner. Jeremy London as sort of the average Joe. Yeah. I forget the name of the guy here on the right. So many classic actors in this movie. You had Ben Affleck.
Jenna Elfman.
Jenna
you
Elfman.
had right here. You've got Dina Martin. You've got Joey Lauren Adams, Parker Posey. You see this sign right here, Jeff?
Yep.
Do you know where this is?
That's the Austin Film Society Theater?
That's the Austin Film Society Theater. Yes,
wow.
That's right. You watch this movie, you find so many like Austin landmarks. I
was going to say for you, this had a hit, right? Just being going to school for film and then coming to Austin and being close to here. This had a hit a special mark for you.
It was. I mean, they hadn't gotten to the point where they're making a bunch of films in Austin. This is one of the only ones.
What did we just see Linkletter do a talk on? Didn't we just see him? We saw him at the theater.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We saw him for something.
Anyway, Dazed and Confused, I think, while it's not a belly laugh kind of movie, it is funny, and it's one of those movies that's just. Well, I mean, I think that Quentin Tarantino would quantify it as a hangout movie.
Yeah.
And it's a movie that you just put on and have on, you know?
Yeah.
Because
It's so relatable.
Yeah.
Very relatable.
So many parts of that movie are relatable. And it's just the vibe of that movie is nice to have in your presence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not overbearing. It's just like, it's just chill. It's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Movies and music are those bookmarks in time that kind of capture you. And this like when you feel this movie, you feel early 90s for sure. And it's not just the cast. Ben Affleck, Mila Jovovich was in this too.
Everybody's in this. Adam Goldberg.
Yeah, Adam Goldberg was in this.
A few people from Rent, the musical.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, sir.
Matthew McConaughey, his first one of his first big roles.
Yeah, I mean now, like if you I read his book and learning his history about his acting. He talks all about getting this role and how it kind of changed everything for him. And like his whole life philosophy now is built on this. I mean, this is much cooler if you did. And all right, that was all born here.
Yep.
And born in Dazed and Confused. I mean, this gave birth to Matthew McConaughey to the entertainment world. And the world is better for it.
I have a theory about this movie. Here's a hot take. You're going to post this on the internet. This could cause controversy.
All right.
I think that in this movie, I've done some work in the past, and I worked with the cinematographer of Dazed and Confused on a thing one time.
Lee Daniel.
Yep. I worked with him. I actually slept with him in a camper for a week.
Wait. It's very important that you use your commas and your periods when you say that again.
We stayed in the camper while we were filming a documentary. Anyway, I think in this film, Matthew McConaughey is doing an impression of Lee Daniel, the cinematographer.
Oh, really?
That's my theory.
Oh.
Because if you've ever met him, he sounds like Matthew McConaughey in this film.
Oh wow, that is a really hot take.
That's a really hot take.
He's like, shit, I never did this before. It's my first role. I'm gonna act like that guy that's right behind the camera. Right there. Hey, what'd you just say? I can't tell you. Much cooler if you did tell me. Oh shit. Okay, I'll use it.
Use it.
So there was a magazine. It was an Entertainment Weekly talking about 50th best high school movies. It made that list. And it was also ranked 10th on the funniest movies of the past 25 years list. So again, like you said, not necessarily because of the belly laughs, but it's a movie that'll make you feel good. You're not going to watch this and be in a bad mood. You're literally just going to be, it's going to put you in a chill mood. It was also another...
And really have crime as well. We've got hazing.
Yes. So. 0 sex crimes in this movie.
Even with the theme.
Right. Way to call that one back.
Yeah, good. So the budget was 6.9 and the box office was 8. And that's just not a fair testament of how...
It's really grown like its own cult following for sure.
It really did. I mean, if you haven't been to town, you go to Top Notch Burgers and they do honors to it. And they're actually building one up north in Hutto. For all you Austinites, if you're familiar with, there is going to be a Top Notch.
There is a Top Notch. I have a friend who lives out there. She says she's been up there.
So. Yes, I thought that would be something that it never would branch out. Because again, when we first moved to Austin, we talked about Gueros after seeing, Death Proof and Grindhouse.
Last billboard before Gueros.
But Top Notch is definitely a stop that if you come to Austin and if you want to show your friends.
Come get you a burger.
Yeah, and the burgers are good. They really did good. And there was some music. There was something about the music in this film as well that really did well at capturing the time. Because it's weird. It's a movie that takes place in 1976, but it reminds you of 1993. But... that's over. And I was going to say, wasn't Renee Zellweger in that? She was in that.
She was also.
Yeah.
Both of them were. Her and Joey Lauren Adams, who are variants of each other.
They are variants of each other.
I remember when I first saw this movie, like I wasn't into like movies or anything, and this happened to be on TV, and so I thought this was, a 70s movie. And so I remember later seeing all these actors in something else, and it just blew my mind that they hadn't aged but maybe a couple years. I was like, wait a minute. These people were just in a 70s movie, and it's like 1997, and all of a sudden, what?
Oh, that's awesome. And there's
Did y'all have anything in, like, if you grew up in a smaller town or like a high school, like something that the seniors did to the incoming freshmen that was like similar to this movie? You know how they make the girls like fry like eggs they do like the whole thing. The town I grew up in, they would if you didn't shave your head as an incoming high school freshman, the seniors would fine you and shave your head for you and your eyebrows.
What?
Oh my gosh!
You had to shave your head?
So on the last day of 8th grade, all the boys went and got their head shaved, or else, because if you didn't do it, they were going to do it for you.
Wow.
And the women had their heads shaved as well?
We were fine.
Was there anything for like the girls who were graduating 8th grade that they had to do fry like anything like no? It was just the boys.
Just the boys, like, and it was one of those things that like it was the most normal thing ever because you grew up with it,
right?
And you just knew every year every 8th grader had to shave their head on the last day of school, because if they didn't, they would also lose their eyebrows.
Did you have a similar thing, Jeff, at your high school preparatory?
It was more about physical violence.
That's true.
The head shaving, for sure, is a little bit more. You just get the crap beat out of you.
I had a thing that we did at my high school, and I'm going to bring it up. Jeff, don't turn this into a short. I mentioned this story. I mentioned this story one time at another place, and I had to talk to HR afterwards. But it was a shoot. It was a real thing. This is just what we did. This is how the seniors would raise money for the prom. Basically, for the seniors to raise money for the prom every year, we'd had a slave auction where they would auction off the freshmen to people.
Yeah, that
it's just a real thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Back to sex crimes.
And it was just, I mean, nobody got sex crimed in this one. It was just race crimes. But like basically, so you'd go in the gym. Everybody was on the stands, on the high school bleachers, yelling and screaming and hooting and howling, and you just run through all the freshmen one at a time and auction them off to the highest bidder. God. And it wasn't like you didn't make them like do things. You didn't make them do anything. It was just like it was harmless racism. It was just like you'd get the kid's your slave, and you put a funny costume on and make them carry your books and bring your lunch. Nobody even thought to do anything so cruel to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. But it was a slave auction.
These kids and their slave auctions.
But that's how they would raise money for the prom.
So I need to know, Ashley, like, is this still a thing from your hometown? Like or when's the last year that the shaving heads thing happened?
I need to find out, because
I need to know. I need to
at
follow
some point,
up.
somebody's mom was going to step in, right, and be like, "We're not doing this anymore."
My school still does the slave auctions. No, I'm just kidding.
Ashley, put that up on TikTok. I just followed you, so I need to follow up.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. We'll leave that one off. The only thing I can think of is I do remember the football players who had ample access to Ben Gay, which you'd be calling Icy Hot now. And yeah, the same thing that happened in Revenge of the Nerds, that happened in there when they made but they did it in person with their hands. The whole thing was they just reach your hand in and then they swipe up like a credit card.
Yikes.
So I do remember rolling under the bus with two guys trying to hold me down. So yeah, that was a thing.
My God.
What were we doing back
then? Way more violent than mine.
We have all these great comedies, and we're out here committing these slave auctions and crimes. Should have been watching VHS.
Yeah.
Suddenly, video games don't seem so bad.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Was that just
point.
Anyway, so Linkletter nailed it with that one.
He did. He really did. Again, and he created a timeless, like that stamped a certain that 90s period. This is in that same bucket, right? When you talk about Quentin and Robert and Kevin Smith, Linkletter falls in that bucket, right? It was just a little sooner, but
he was ahead of them. Honestly.
Yeah,
he's like in the Spike Lee group.
He definitely primed those pumps for sure. All right.
So
well,
my sophomore year of college, that photo was me and my roommate's Halloween costume. We went as a group as the senior girls from Dazed and Confused.
oh, that's awesome. You still could do that, and people, especially here in Texas, and they would get that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whistles and everything.
That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, I am up. I don't know if I'm going to make this any more politically correct with this with this choice. And believe it or not, it was 1998 this choice, but I got to say, There's Something About Mary as one of my favorite summer movies, and I remember going to school in Florida and just like we had already seen, Dumb and Dumber, and actually I preferred Kingpin over Dumb and Dumber. I thought Kingpin was even a little funnier. But then when Something to Mary, it almost felt like what Mario, you would say, like they were trying to take it like a more artsy, serious route, but they didn't. It was great. But you watch all this stuff now, like almost all of Matt Dillon's lines, I don't think you can even say them. And if you say them, you're like, they just don't. Like people are like, oh no, you can't do it. But man, he was so good. He was just so earnest in that. And ironically, he was born as an 80s star, right? And then he goes into the 90s. But just think, even that picture with Cameron Diaz there.
Describe what's happening in this photo, Jeff.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You got like, you would do that just like. So, like, if you had to explain to your, actually, you're talking about how you can't quote Lebowski with your dad. Like, so imagine explaining to your mom, why is her hair standing up like that? And you got to tell your mom that. It's just like, well, you see, he had the baby batter on his brain. So what he did was he got the Sunday lingerie section out of the newspaper.
You have to do it old school.
Oh, man. But it did give birth, again, some of the Matt Dillon stuff was hilarious, but you couldn't do it anymore. But it did give birth to something very funny that you can still say and get away with. You can be in any room and you can yell Franks and Beans, and they're going to just know exactly what you're talking
Franks and Beans.
Franks and Beans.
Yeah. Franks and Beans.
Franks and Beans. But yeah, the crimes here was obviously, or what was his name? Like Hurley, Matt Dillon's. Yeah. He was spying on her. He was listening to all her stuff. He thought she wanted big teeth, so he got those caps made. Oh man, but like him just talking to Ben Stiller, and just like when he realized that Mary was gorgeous and he was going to try to steal her, the way he was trying to deter her, just like, no, she's doing good. She looks really healthy. Deuce 50, doing good. Like all the kids she has, like he's saying everything he can to like scare her away. But Pat Healy, because Matt Dillon had been gone for a little while. Like I feel like he wasn't in a bunch of stuff. Right. And then all of a sudden he shows up in this role. But the Farley brothers were a little bit on fire right there between, coming off Dumb and Dumber. And then Kingpin wasn't, and then Something About Mary. They kind of helped launch Jim Carrey, so to speak. Like we knew about him, right? For sure. But I mean, everybody to this day still knows like Dumb and Dumber. But I don't know. What were your guys' feelings on There's Something About Mary? Was it just me?
No, it's a comedy
I wanted
classic.
to be her. Like, I wanted to be Mary. I was like, she's independent, she's smart, she's pretty. Like, she was like such a strong female lead where, usually they get girly, they get whatever, they get weak. And I'm like, oh, she's so dope. Like, that's to be. No,
you're absolutely right. Yeah, she was cracking beers and she was talking about how she just wanted somebody real. And I like how she was presented there. I want somebody real while she was being real,
Yeah, and she doesn't put up with like anybody's shit. It's not like, well, making excuses. No, like she's like, no, you did me wrong, and so bye. I'm gonna go do my own thing because like you said, I'm like this independent, strong person. Yeah.
I love the scene where she's with her girlfriends and she's saying like, I want a guy who can like play a round of golf and then take me and Warren to a baseball game. And then Sarah Silverman is like the bit part of that friend. And she's like,
that's right.
Fatty who likes beer and golf. Where are you going to find such a gentleman?
I forgot Sarah. Yeah, that was Sarah Silverman who dropped that.
Only in the movie for a minute. She kills it.
Oh, that was so good too. And the dog was harmed, but the dog lived.
He goes, flings the dog out the window.
The dog survived thanks to the electric shock from the lamp.
A little bit of trivia. Directors of this film went on to win an Oscar for The Green Book.
Oh, that's right. They did do the Green Book. That's awesome.
First Oscar
The
related
twist,
movie.
the amount of twist for a comedy for this movie was like incredible, right? Because we have Tucker, who like doesn't need the crutches after all. He's the pizza guy.
Yes.
And then
because
all the way to the end with Wookie, he's like, Mike Woganowski, did you not put it together? And he's the boyfriend from so long ago. And he's got all the
Chris
Elliott, the hives or whatever he has.
It was just huge swerves in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think that reason the swerves were so huge because they let you get into comfort. Because Mary is a great character. Mary's like a really good... Everybody else in the movie is whatever. Mary is the central character of the whole film, and she's great. It's hard not to just fall in love with her. But shout out to Harlan Williams, who gives a cameo as a hitchhiker.
Yes.
Who comes up with the minutes for 7-minute abs?
7-minute abs. What about
little squirrel
6?
sitting on a branch. 7.
No, 6 minutes. No, that's gonna goes against everything.
Step into my office. Why? Because you're fired.
Oh, and
who is it that plays Mary's dad in the flashback? Because he also
Keith David.
Keith David, yeah.
Is it the beans or the Franks?
How'd you get your beans above your Franks? Yeah, he was great in, and that was Marky Post as the mom, right?
Marky Post, rest in peace, man.
Yes,
she's dead
from
now.
Night Court. But that was good.
Yep. R.I.P.
And I don't think we see it as much here because down south, when you're driving, you go. Buc-ee's is your rest stop. But up north, those rest stops that look like the Jersey rest stops. And when I'd never even heard that, and I stopped at these rest stops so much growing up with your family on these trips, you're like, this is what really happens at rest stops. They're like, we're just peeing. Yeah, I'm just peeing too. Yeah, we're all just peeing. It's like, what the hell is this? I never even heard. So I never even went back and looked. I was so disturbed. Like, is that like an urban legend or is that a real thing? Because they're pretty eerie. They literally, now you get convenience stores and you get stuff like Buc-ee's. But back then it was literally like a brick building with 2 restrooms and some sketchy looking water fountains. And that was your rest stop.
I'm not going to tell you how I've heard these things or why I've heard these things, but these are apparently not just urban legends. These are real things that happen. Apparently, in my hometown, at some point, they built this new park, and it became the spot where that scene could happen all over again.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, okay, that's I'm gonna avoid that park.
Oh, what if you're really tired though?
Luckily, there's a Walmart down the street from that park. I'll go park in the Walmart.
just sleep there. So that was 1998, and actually 360 million worldwide gross. The 4th highest grossing film of 1998 was "There's Something About Mary."
Excellent film.
Yeah, I think that was peak. I think that was peak Farley's. Well, unless you count Oscars, but as far as peak comedies.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so we got to do a quick review here. So Ash, you had Big Lebowski, round 2, right? JJ, you had Spaceballs. Mario, you had Dazed and Confused. And then I went with There's Something About Mary.
Great choice.
What a solid list. Mm-hmm. What a blockbuster night this would be.
Right?
Only $12.
Yeah, because I went to rent. Mario, you were talking about, like, are you an anti-renter? When you asked me if I was an anti-renter, it's like, no, I'll still rent. Like, I'll rent a stream versus a buy. But, like, some of the early, like, you can rent Renfield now, but it's like, it's $20.
I know.
That's nuts.
I went ahead and bought it. It was $25 to buy.
That's what I was going to say. At that point, you might as well just buy it because it's cheaper to go see it in the theater. But, like, why are you making it hard to rent? you just make me want to buy it. But maybe that's the trick. Maybe they do want you to buy it.
Bring back Blockbuster.
I think we need to do that.
So I just got back on Netflix. Netflix discs. So
yes,
They still have that?
Yes,
they do.
I thought they were
till
about to
September.
I was gonna say they phased it
Till
out.
September. I rejoined till September.
Just to get some disc and
Yeah,
some
just to
envelopes,
get it.
you can join up and just start grabbing. And guess what? Don't return it.
Yeah, exactly. When I get to the end, I'm not going to return the discs. Boom. Those last 3 movies I'm going to keep. Trying to decide what they're going to be. Be some criterions.
Oh, smart move.
Yeah.
Because apparently, you can get better movies than you can on streaming.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Why does it make it's hard to pick a movie when you're streaming, but like actually, you were just talking about it, you made it a Blockbuster night. You can spend hours there, but it felt delightful. Even if you didn't find something, you felt like you experienced something. Now
It was
it's
an
just
activity.
Yeah.
You were learning about film.
And we don't
like the disappointment when you see all the cases and then you go and there's not that hard case behind the classic one. Where you're like,
Yeah, that hurts. So actually, I was going to tell you should do a TikTok. The cam cuts, and they got the one with Beetlejuice of like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Nothing, just hanging around. I was like, we need to do one of those for Blockbuster when you're waiting for that new release, but you're trying to pretend you're just hanging out there. What are
Can
you
you
doing?
let me know when you get a copy of Con Air?
Yes. You hear the thump, thump, thump. Hey, what was that? What
Is that Con Air?
Yeah.
Is that Con Air? Wait, we got to rewind it.
Be kind, rewind.
Got to rewind it before we give it to you.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, we're liable.
I need to see if the guy who's repairing my VCR has one of those things that all they do is rewind films.
I have 2 of those.
You do have rewinders?
Yeah, I got 2 rewinders. You don't want to rewind in your VCR. Where's it out?
Smart. See? Actually, see, this is what we were talking about. You learn on YouTube.
yes. I always wanted one. I thought that was like bougie for people that had like winders in their house. I'm like, oh.
That's special.
You have a whole separate rewinder. Look at you.
You rewind a tape where you put in the next tape.
Yeah.
A rewinder. Hello, Mr. Rockefeller.
Hey,
Your Majesty.
That's awesome. All right, let's do it. Last round.
Last round.
Fun in the sun. So Ashley, you're up for your final pick.
Okay, final pick is I laugh consistently. Like every single word of this movie is funny. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, wow. Yeah. An absolute classic.
I mean, the classic.
Yeah, that is like the classic, stands the test of time. This has to be one that people, when you stumble on it, you have no idea what you're in for, right? If you never were exposed to any kind of Monty Python, and then all of a sudden you stumble on this. How did you stumble on this? Was this a rental or was this on TV? How'd you find it?
So this movie is older than me, and the way that I found it is my parents trying to explain to me why it was funny without letting me watch it. And they're telling me about the scene with the knight, and his arm is getting cut off, and like my parents are like in hysterics, and they can barely breathe to tell me the story. And they're like, and then he's just on the ground with stumps, and he's like, "Come back, coward!" And we're all just sitting there like, what? Like we're laughing because my parents are laughing. You know, me, my brother and sister are like 4, 5, and 6 at this time. We're just like, okay, and then they show it to us, and we're like, oh my god! Like we can't stop laughing, and the terrible jokes just fly right over your little kid head. You know, like when we get to the castle scene with Zoot. You know, they're like, why is it funny that everyone's getting spanked? That doesn't sound great. But you see it as a grown up, and you're like.
If I could just reveal something to you, Ashley, I think that would be just to let you know right now. Your parents were high as hell.
Real.
They could not have gotten any higher. I love that movie. It does. It definitely has a summer vibe because it's the movie that, for me, it is equated with just being high. It's just one of those early stoner movies. Before stoner movies existed, this was a stoner movie.
Man, yeah, you just made me realize, damn, my parents were high too, because I remember laughing. Oh man, that is a great pick. I mean, I think it spans generations. We're talking about it's just a flesh wound. I think everybody pretty much can pick up on that. I see a lot of like anytime you're looking for, I gauge it on what this new generation knows by the GIF inventory. Like when you're going through Giphy of just like who gets it, and you see a lot of the bunny. The rabbit bunny gif. Like anytime you're picking up, you're trying to do any kind of white rabbit search or anything like that, Monty Python's, that shows up every time.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so funny that when you try to explain any one scene to someone and like everyone around you knows and they're all laughing if there's like the one person that hasn't seen it. And so you can barely get through it and everyone around you is cracking up. And even the person who's never seen it is like, okay, I'm with you. This is so funny.
You get pulled in.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that like that you're a teenager and one of your friends is like, hey, have you guys seen this movie? You know, Monty Python and the Holy Grail? What are you talking? Oh, it's the funniest movie you've ever seen in your life. What are you talking about? And then you have a sleepover and so you like late night and you're watching. Yeah, well,
smoke this.
Yeah, exactly. throw in the VHS, you know, showing the age, but throw on Netflix or whatever, wherever it's on currently, and just watch one of the funniest movies you've ever seen.
It reminds me of the early smoke this conversations. Because I mean, there was a time when it was like smoke this, and it's like, no, I don't want to go to jail, and it's like, but then you do it, and it's just like all of a sudden it was like the funniest 3 hours of your life, right? it reminds me of that. It's one of that Monty Python and the Holy Grail and like Mel Brooks' silent movie.
Yes,
are the ones that remind me of those times more than anything.
Yes, very much so. There's just something about that British humor, like it's always been like very subtle, or they mine humor where you wouldn't expect the humor to come, which makes it so timeless that you can it's never going to feel dated, right? I mean, but
it stands up.
It does.
Yeah,
because it's just the absurdity of it is so far past what you like. This shouldn't be. But it circles back to funny again.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Just everyone, like you said, it's like yelling Franks and Beans. You say certain lines and people are going to know what you're talking about, right? You just bring out your dead. Bring out your dead.
I'm not dead yet.
I'm not dead. See, people are going to like.
I
feel fine. You know, I read this, so it has to be true because they put it on the internet. But they had a budget, and it couldn't include horses. So the coconuts were never a plan. And, like, they wanted real horses, and then they were like, well, we can't have horses. What are we going to do? And they're like, oh, I got an idea.
That's so genius.
And to actually put it in there, too. I was like, we're going to just throw this in your face, and you're going to see the clacking coconuts are so good.
But they still need a gallop run. Like, you don't even have a horse.
Oh man, I don't.
No doubt, horses are expensive. I know.
So to show you as a way to see like how that, especially that scene, is still going on and transcends time. There's just very recently I saw on Reddit there was a promposal or whatever they're called. So a video, and this guy and his buddies came up and they were doing the coconut thing. They were doing the gimmick and coming up, and it was this whole medieval promposal, and it was just hilarious. I'm like, I hope this girl says yes.
She better have.
Right.
Don't waste good humor like that. Yeah, because I had to just look it up because I don't remember what year it was actually released. It was 1975.
Wow.
It's like, holy smokes.
Classic year.
Yeah. That it worked out really well. Written and performed by Monty Python, so it had Graham Chapman, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Terry Jones, and Michael Palin. And all their stuff was really good. There was one.
Yeah.
They had a film before that, but that was more of a sketch film, and now for something completely different. This was the one that was actually like a cohesive film. And
There's
inspired Spam-A-Lot, right?
Is that true?
Yeah, that's what it says here. 3 years later, Idol used the film as the basis for the 2005 Tony Award-winning musical Spam-A-Lot, which I did not see.
There's a rumor that like for the Holy Grail, like Pink Floyd and somebody else funded the movie.
What?
Yeah, because they liked those guys so much. They liked the Monty Python so much, and they helped fund the movie. They needed some extra funds.
It funded my screening, Pink Floyd. For sure.
But yeah, like the guys from Pink Floyd and somebody else, like these major names, because they were so popular, helped fund the movie.
I mean, some of their TV show stuff was always funny. Like
those guys are hilarious.
Oh my gosh, the Ministry of Funny Walks.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
it was the absolute dream team of comedy. Like there's like these magical times, like when you get the very first cast of like Saturday Night Live. For as far as like British comedy, it was these guys, this troupe together, like created magic for sure. It says it was one of the great. Where is it? Okay, there it was. Monty Python grossed more than any British film exhibited in the U.S. in 1975. In the U.S., it was selected in 2011 as the second best comedy of all time in the ABC special Best in Film, the greatest movies of our time, behind Airplane, only behind Airplane.
Wow.
That's pretty big.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious.
Don't call me Shirley.
Naked Gun almost did make the list. It almost did. So, good pick. Was it on the TV show or one of the movies that they had the world champion of hide and seek, and he just flew all the way around the world, hid in a cave, and then just keep peeking his head out and then going back, and he just stayed there the entire time. That's another Monty Python gem.
We had I have 3 kids, and during the pandemic, we were like, hey, y'all are going to sit down and you're going to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And they loved it. They thought it was hilarious. And, we have all this time in the pandemic and beautiful weather. And we look in the backyard, and my 2 youngest are recreating the scene with broomsticks and chairs. And, like, I hear them yelling, I cut your arm up. And I was like, oh.
You won.
I'll start polishing my parenting trophy right now.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day.
I'd like to thank the Parenting Academy. I couldn't be here. But for reals though, for a shoot, that had to feel pretty good. Like that had to feel so successful. Like, yes.
Oh yeah.
I knew it.
Because you want your kids to laugh with you, and you want to like enjoy things together. And so we hyped them up. Like, we talked about the bridge scene, and we're so funny. But the one that they really gravitated to was the witch, where which is like, did you dress her this way? And they're like, no. Yes. They just loved it. It was so great hearing them do all the things.
Oh, that is so great. What a pick. All right. We got 3 more picks. We got some time. JJ, you're up. What's your final pick?
Oh, man, my
you gotta
final
follow
pick.
that.
Man, I hate having to follow. Ashley's got like all the bangers, man. Following up, that's tough. Okay, my last pick is from the 90s, so we're doing a little less sex crimes.
Which is good.
Which is good. No, we need to get away from it. Now that I think about it, maybe not. But my pick is Weekend at Bernie's.
Yes. There are crimes, but it's more about embezzlement.
Well, there's a scene.
Dead bodies.
Yeah. I was reminded recently of a scene with a dead Bernie and his girlfriend.
Oh, some necrophilia did happen in there. There we go. You're right.
So, but yes.
What a magical time! This is when Mario and I talk about this a lot. Like when Hollywood would come up with ideas on cocktail napkins and just go for it and not need any IP. So somebody was totally like stoned or drunk, just like, just make him dead, and they got to pretend he's not dead all weekend. Like, how crazy would that be? Like, yeah, let's make it. Okay, here's some money, go make it. Here's so it doubled its budget. I mean, it was $15 million, and it made $30 million.
But like,
it spawned a sequel.
And a sequel, yes.
It had to go through a funnel of people who've never actually dealt with dead bodies, because that, like, in reality, it would be a horror movie. Like, they're falling apart, you know? And then they're like, no, it'll be super funny. You'll just get really stiff and they can, like, put clothes on him. And, like, no.
We'll make him dance. It'll be hilarious. Put a cigarette in his mouth.
Just tired.
It won't smell weird at all. Like, you're going to be fine.
Like, the body would be shitting itself, right? Realistically?
But yeah, we might have to put that on Mythbusters. Yeah. Just like, can you carry around your dead boss for a weekend? Well, actually, no.
Weekend at Bernie's, bust this myth. They put a cigarette in his mouth. They give him a drink. Yeah, it was a hilarious concept. I mean, I was dying.
Isn't there a lot of gases being released? Wouldn't his body maybe explode from the cigarette?
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could.
Like the rigor mortis, like you got to hit one position where he can do a lot of different things because he's gonna like step it up.
How did Bernie die exactly?
He did the hitman did kill him. He was successful.
The hitman kills, but so Bernie was trying to get the two guys killed,
right?
But there was a mix up as you do in these kinds of scenarios where the hitman kills him.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah,
right?
I think they said, you know what, he's too much trouble. Let's just get rid of him instead.
Or no, is because he's sleeping with the the mob guy's girlfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah.
The amazing actor Terry Kaiser as Bernie.
There you go.
From
is he possibly the best dead performance ever?
They should have got an award for sure. and he spawned a sequel. So in the sequel, like how I need to go back because I didn't watch the sequel as much as the original. Like, how long has the body been deceased by that point?
Not very long, if I remember correctly.
But they got voodoo involved, right?
Right, like
the music made him dance.
Right, like they put the headphones on him, and that's how he gets to walk.
Yeah,
they get him walk. I'm like, oh my god, what is like the sequel's just bonkers. Like they're like, okay, we have this crazy concept. Okay, now we need a sequel. Let's just get weird with it. Like weird? Like we already weren't weird with it.
Necrophilia is not weird enough for you? Okay. We'll add some voodoo.
See, Hollywood, this is what you stop doing.
Right?
Yeah.
Cocaine is what they stopped doing.
Right.
I just remember him sitting there, and then he had it's just like, but wouldn't there be flies? Like, just give him a fly swatter; it'll be funny. Just like, hey, it's Bernie. Keep the flies. I just used to remember the little kid, and one of the brainworms from this movie was when he fell, and the little kid started burying him. He's like, stop burying him. He's like, are you talking to me? Well, piss off. He just.
And then that little kid comes around later, and he's got a gun. Yeah, and he's messing with those two, and they're freaking out, and they're like, "Oh my god, we're gonna die!" And then they look around the corner, and there's the little kid, and he shoots him the finger.
That's right.
I'm like, what the? Who thought of this scene? Like, what are we doing here?
Oh man, yeah. So I had to look it up and just to confirm it. Yeah, so. Bernie arrives at the island before the pair and plans the murders with Polly. The hitman, unaware the conversation is being recorded, Polly arrives and kills Bernie with a lethal dose of heroin.
There you
and
go.
stages it as self-inflicted. I was like, man, yeah, 80s, man. They're just out of their mind.
Requiem for a Bernie. All right.
Oh, man, that was good.
Let's bust through the rest of this round because I'm having technical difficulties.
All right, let's do it. All right, you're up.
Is me?
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so my next pick is a summer movie that came. Imagine this scenario, Jeff. The world has come to an end, and we're all trapped indoors, hiding from a deadly disease which is killing people en masse. Millions of people were dying on a daily basis, and Netflix was not Netflix. It was Hulu was kind enough to release a comedy for us to watch for free called Palm Springs.
Oh, that was so
pick.
good.
Palm Springs
was
I
great.
thought, was a really, really solid comedy that came out in the middle of a disaster and just blew the doors off of streaming networks.
Yeah.
It's basically Groundhog Day times 2
Yep.
for the most part, but it really, really works well.
It worked great. Like, yeah, if this wasn't released, this would have been something that would have been in theaters and word of mouth.
It was supposed to be in theaters.
Yeah, and it would have been a huge hit for Andy Samberg, who's great. Lonely Island. Speaking of summer jams, but that's really good. I've only seen it like twice. It hasn't had like a lot of the repeat viewings that I've seen with it, but yeah, slam dunk. Did you guys see Palm Springs? Andy Samberg.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, and I'm like, based on everything we've done up to this point, I'm gonna watch it the minute we get up.
Yeah,
it is such a fun movie.
It's a fun
great.
movie. It's and you're right. Like it's Groundhog's Day. You know, just imagine somebody else caught in Groundhog's Day.
Yes, Andy Samberg in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and so they take the concept and really run with it, and it's that's a good choice. That's a real good choice. That's a real funny movie. Yep.
Yeah.
Solid summer entertainment for the folks at home.
I really thought Andy Samberg would eventually kind of move along to the direction that looks like Bill Hader's going to with like Barry, that I think he would be ready to cross over to be like the next Bill Murray, because his stuff. But Lonely Island is just always so good. And then when you see him in this, you realize he was gonna. And then he went with he went with the cop show, which is great.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah,
it's such a great show.
It's so good.
So great.
He just has that
wholesomely funny.
Yes. He really does. He just has that everything that he's in, it just works. I think I saw the blinking you were talking about.
Yes.
All right. Sorry. All right. Last one. I'll go with it. I know we got to blaze through this. I'm going with a 2008 film that I never thought I would have loved, and I watch it every summer now without fail, usually on a plane, and it's Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Oh. I had no idea how much I was going to love this film, and just loved every time I see it. It just, to me, it just gets better. Everything about it, the cast works. I mean, we got Russell Brand, Mila Kunis, Kristen Bell worked. Jason Segel was good, but it was, again, these were just like the brainworms. There's so many brainworms in this, I'm wearing the shirt kind of like in honor of that. When Sarah gets him the shirt and he spills wine, and, oh, no, take my eyes, but not the shirt. I mean, it's just these just little things that just work so well. And then Mila Kunis coaxing him off the cliff always gets me, too. It's like, come on, Peter, I can see your vagina from here. I can see your hoo-ha. I feel like this was peak Seagal. Like the world got introduced, and then Mila was just kind of firing on all cylinders. And
peak
then
Seagal.
And even the small things, like Jonah Hill's role, like just for one, he's like, "You want a magazine or something?" Like everything about it. And I gotta by default give shout out. I do have the Dracula musical on my Spotify playlist, and it may or may not been one of the top played in my annual Spotify when it says how many times you played this. And Spotify's like, you want new music? And I'm just like Mila Kunis, like, Dracula musical! Woo!
Just play it.
Just play it, but it was so good. I don't know, but obviously reminds you of summer being in Hawaii and everything about it. But
didn't the Dracula musical get him the Muppets spot?
Exactly, yeah. So he brought the Muppets back because of Dracula musical in it. But Bill Hader had good cameos in it. There were so many good cameos. I don't know. What are you guys feeling on Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
I really feel like that movie flew under the radar. And then when you watched it, you were like, why did I miss that movie?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, 100%. And it's
Didn't
spiritual.
Kumail Nanjiani have a cameo in that?
He did. Yes, he was in there too. That's right. I was trying to pull up the cast list, but there was tons of different cameos that were in that movie. The guy from 30 Rock, he was in there as well as the newlyweds who was afraid to have sex with his wife. So Russell Brand was trying to show him. I was trying to show him how to do it with the chess piece. Paul Rudd was in it. Kunu will show you how to surf. That was peak Paul Rudd too. I'd use that line all the time. It's like do more. No, do less. Well, no, do more. You got to do a little bit more than that. Everything about that, like everybody, the small roles in there just work well. And the spiritual sequel, Get Him to the Greek, just as good. Just as funny. But there's just I have a soft spot for Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Good pick.
Yes.
I feel like that movie has a vibe of like, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Hawaii. We're going to film this movie. We're going to work. We're also going to call 900 of our famous friends to do cameos so we can all party in Hawaii together.
They pulled an Adam Sandler.
The Adam Sandler formula. For sure.
Oh, my God. I think you're 100% right on that.
It's just because it has that fun energy. Like everyone's having a good time. We're all laughing. Like you can tell if they're filming it, they're having a good time.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't work. It was just a party.
They were having a good time. Those were happy tissues, not sad tissues. And then even the Kristen Wiig as the yoga instructor. Again, another friend that they just called in, and she just got her hands all over.
Yeah, I mean, all that comedic talent just hanging around each other. Like, come on.
Yeah, they were just creating 100% magic. So, all right, that was good stuff. So last round we had. Let the round of applause. So we had. Actually, you had Monty Python, The Holy Grail. JJ, you had Weekend at Bernie's. Yep. Mario, you had Palm Springs, and I went with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So I feel like we did we spanned generations. So I think we've got something in every decade, right? 70s, 80s, 90s, aughts.
Oh yeah,
excellent,
and pretty recent. That's what we call teaching. We just taught the
potpourri of comedy.
That's right.
There you go. That's a good way to say it.
Awesome. So I think that's a wrap. So Ashley, I want to give you a chance to plug your stuff before you leave. Thank you so much for coming in. See, I knew this was going to be 10 times better than Die Hard because everyone got to see you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this was so much fun. Oh my God, I would do this every.
Yes, that would be awesome. But yeah, we'll have you come back on. So what do you want? So you have on TikTok, you're Ashley in real life.
Yes, Ashley in real life on TikTok. On Instagram, I'm Ashley Ann Warren. And if you are in the Houston area and you need a house, look me up.
That's right. And please feel free to make that cap cut of hanging out near the Blockbuster return thing. Awesome. And JJ, thank you so much for coming back on. Always good to have you here in the volume.
Always happy to be in the studio. Yeah.
So that's it. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programs next week. I don't know. There's too many quotes to end it. I couldn't even pick one to choose on how you would end this. So Ashley, as the guest, I'm going to let you say your favorite quote from any of those movies you see, and that's going to be our finisher.
Okay. Gosh, the pressure.
I know it's no pressure at all.
Right.
You can put an asterisk.
Really,
we won't make
and
you
it's not
swear
even
to it.
by movie. I just want to roll with the keep firing assholes.
All right, that's a good one to close on.
That was perfect.
Keep firing, assholes.
That was so good.
That was right.